even some ladies here, even if it's about dicks and penises and all that stuff. I always start my talks not with the boring slides you see behind me. I have a deal with my mother, and this is all about taking a selfie every time I'm on stage. I'm speaking at the conference. So please be so kind and put on your happiest, luckiest face. Just one little click and it's done. Thank you. So okay, now the official part. I have to talk about penises now. Yeah, it's about penis pull requesting, and this is just the official slide. I prepared another one, but then an email came in, and it was all about take our fonts and our icons and our colors and everything. But I decided to show my first one. So this was my plan. Everything is just in your head, just two skyscrapers. Maybe they compare each other, I don't know. My name is Andre Biel. I'm from Hamburg. I'm freelancing. Right now, I'm working for Finanzcheck, based in Altona, and I'm responsible for collecting all your data if you need some money there. I just used the template, so this was the About Me page. I didn't really know what to put in, so I decided to put in that I'm pretty good at coding, but maybe 2 times better at understanding teams. Because I'm a freelancer, I get in touch with a lot of different teams and projects, and it helped me a lot to understand these different teams to come up with an idea called penis pull requesting. So what's happening in the next 30 minutes? First of all, we try to find out how you can detect symptoms of penis pull requesting in your team, on your developers, whatever environment you're working on. Then that's the most important part. We will have some fun. So don't take me too serious. It's pretty sarcastic, the whole topic, but everything is based on real experience. So I don't totally made it up in my mind. It's based on real things that happened. Lastly, we will talk about your product and how to protect it. If you know that you are infected with penis pull requesting, there might be some ways to get around it. This talk is a bit technical, but I try to explain everything, so we start with a pretty boring slide if you are a developer. So I wanted to make clear what is a pull request. Imagine that your application, which you want to ship, is a train on a rail, driving from A to B. B is your next milestone. Now you come around and you say, I need a new feature, and a developer starts working on it. At this point, depends on your strategy, he takes your code, your application, which is the first train, and puts it on another track. And he starts working on that track and puts all his load on that train, and the load is your feature. And then in the end, he says, okay, I'm ready. Senior developer, come here, just review it. And then another developer just reviews the code. And if it's all good, they will merge it. So his loading, his feature goes on the main track, and you can reach your destination B, and maybe the feature will go live eventually. So when I prepared for this talk, I came up with the idea of explaining the stuff by an example. And since we are on an e-commerce, like we want to sell stuff, I decided to go with a pretty little online shop, which is called Magic Tees. And this online shop is just a normal shop for t-shirts, and they are working with agile teams there, and they have a big marketing campaign popping up. So in 2 or 3 weeks, they want to have a feature online which goes hand in hand with their new marketing campaign. The team responsible for this is a team called List. They have 6 developers, they work agile, 3 backend, 3 frontend, a product owner. So they are responsible for the category overview and the product list, and they are responsible for working on that feature for that marketing campaign. Some personas. At this point, please, a little round of applause. My girlfriend drew this with my iPad, so just clap your hands a bit. Yeah. Thank you very much, Johanna. Yeah, these are the 3 important people for our scenario. We have Mark, the little blonde young guy on the right. 3 months in the company. He is a front-end developer, and yeah, he likes to coding and likes to get better. Then we have Steve, also front-end, and he's 8 years in the company, and he recently wrote a blog post. And Bill, he's a product owner, also some years in the company, and has no technical background. So what is the magic prize? Yeah, even this slide, they told me I should put on an image, like on the left, this is a placeholder, but I didn't find anything, so I just left it like this. So the user story is, I will read it. A user can see a third price below the reduced price, which is shown below the normal price. So you all know online shops. Usually you have your t-shirt image, and below you have a price. And if you're like in a campaign, you have a reduced price. And if you are in the magic t-shirt week, then you have a magic price below. So the task is, or some parts of this story are already done. So they created new fields in the CMS system. They extend the API. They extended the API of the back-end, front-end team, so another API. And the last task left is they should show the magic price like described in the user story. Yeah, so Mark, you remember him, the blonde guy, junior developer, says, I'm here three months now, but I know I've seen this place in the code base. I can solve this problem. I'm pretty sure I can solve that. Give the task to me. Before we get to his solution, just a quick look, and this is another pretty technical slide, but I will explain. A quick look is like, we have the problem. We want to show prices. And if you look bottom right, you see we have a list of prices. And how we do it in programming is like we iterate over each price. So first iteration would be 1999, so 1999 the price shown in the front end, then 1699, and then the 2 on the bottom right, 1299 is the price of the magic week. So everything is set up for this scenario. Mark knows what to do. The solution should be pretty straightforward because the other teams, there are no dependencies. The other teams already did stuff. And we have a not so complicated like object structure here, just a normal list to iterate over. So what we want to do now is we go through the week of the team and we see what will happen if you penis pull request. So it's Monday. On Monday morning, Bill, the normal day at the office, told the team, we have to implement that feature. And Mark said, I will take it. And on Monday, 14 o'clock, he has a solution. This is from their pretty modern front end, from their website. So you see down below the price, 1999, strike through, 1699, no, since we are in the magic weeks, 1299. So of a company's perspective, it's pretty clear. Task done, you see the price, let's go live. But Tuesday morning, since every developer is in meetings Mondays, since every developer is on lunch and every developer leaves at 5 o'clock on Mondays, Steve finds time to code review this 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. And he Googles it because he sees what I told you about the iteration. He sees a loop there, which is for every item in la la la, just write the price, blah, blah, blah. And he Googles it, and then he finds a link, and that link said, for each loop. That is a statistic. Like if you Google for each performance, then you will find it pretty much the first post. And he sees for each reduce, map, filter, all different functions for a list. For each is pretty slow. I mean, look at this. 0.036 and 0.556 for each. I cannot accept the pull request. Of course, he also thinks, we started this task Monday morning and he's ready, he's a junior, cannot be. So I will decline the pull request. Needs some work, means just go ahead, Mark, and try it again. Tuesday afternoon. Like I said, we had lunch. We had some meetings in between. Mark looks at the comments. Absolutely triggered. Excuse me. We were partying till 7 o'clock in the morning, so a little dry mouth. So, Mark looks at the comments. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's like that little child, absolutely triggered. He doesn't know what to do, but what he knows is, if Steve Googled it, then he can do it, and he spends the same time searching and Googling for performance of for each. So then he leaves really, really angry. He leaves the office and doesn't want to talk to anybody. Now, Wednesday. Just keep in mind that we could go live with the feature on Monday. This could have happened, but we are now on Wednesday. Stand up, like every day, and is just part of the daily routine. PO speaks up and asks, what's going on there? And Mark said, I want to go with my normal work. Feature is implemented, let's go. But Steve says, no. This piece of shitty software, I don't want to have it in my code base, so I'll decline everything. And then the team joins in and said, okay, maybe a part for later. Just discuss it later. We want to go on with our daily routine. But later means always after lunch. And then it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the PO comes in the office and says, "What's going on here? Can we just test it? Can we take it live to production?" And both of them, just the situation is pretty fucked up, I would say. Nobody talks. The teams, like, everything is quiet in that room, and both of them are working on other tasks. Nobody's talking to each other. So, nothing happened until Wednesday evening, and then Friday. We skip the other times, but of course, another lunch, of course, some meetings, and some retro perspectives, some talkings between these two guys, and how can we solve that problem, blah, blah, blah. In the end, they found a solution, and they just put it on testing branch, and the feature is merged on Friday. But since the company has no deploy Fridays, it cannot go live on Friday. So it has to go live on Monday. So what we see here is just the ego delaying a feature, a pretty simple feature, but pretty important business-wise. And it is nice to have a look at the delays of an easy feature. So as we saw, if everything is fine, it's possible that, depending on the task, we take a feature live at maybe a day later, not a working day, just like 24 hours later. That would be the best possible solution. A normal solution would be, maybe if we talk about it Monday morning, we are pretty much done maybe the day after in the evening. But on this solution, already the egos are partly disconnected, and I mean the egos of the developers. So we have two developers. Yeah, they find a solution, not as hard as we have seen in my scenario, but not like they are just working hand in hand. Yeah, in our scenario, it took us like a whole week. Egos are all in every day, all day. Task was pretty clear, and meetings were, yeah, they were there, but like not the whole day. So I asked the question, if we have a pretty easy task, what will happen if all developers PPR and heavy features are requested, or they have heavy meetings popping up in their calendar? Yeah, that will happen. So no deployings, yeah, no agile development. It will all blow up. Why? So let's talk about why Steve and Mark have such a discussion about an easy task. First solution would be maybe they are bored. Maybe they have been working on that project for, I don't know, a year, and they have no new stuff popping up, so they are bored and they just come to the office and bored all day. Maybe they have problems with each other or with their self-perception. Maybe, and this is pretty important, they are not connected to the product. Maybe the product owner doesn't talk so much about the whys, and so they don't know what they are working for. And maybe there's just a lack of experience. Maybe they have never been in such a situation. Maybe they haven't got the experience to accept other code. Maybe they cannot accept that we have different styles of code in one project. All this is possible. So, as we know now, there might be some other causes, but these are the foremost I witnessed myself. We should look at the solutions. So, first solution is explain the why. I will go to the details one slide after this. Then we have to type check. There isn't always type checking just only in programming. We also find type checking in characters. Maybe you decided to put some people in a leading role in your team, and maybe they are not the best fit. And maybe you're just lacking a process. Maybe you haven't got a process, but there might be some ways to just figure something out, to just deal with these problems in a schema. So explain the way. Why? If you are a product owner, you have to just get your team in your boat. So it's pretty much fun as a developer that you know what you are working for and why. And this is because of the future. If you know that the feature you're working on right now will increase the income of the whole company, you're pretty much a big deal in the company. And like every morning will be like a Hollywood walk of fame. Like you come to the office and say, guys, next week 1 million more. We will do it. And this is because as a developer you usually don't get in touch with so much other people, and the feeling to know that the IT does something, not only the sellers or the calling people or whatever, the IT does something to increase the value is a pretty good feeling. Yeah, and of course, there will be some bad times in your team. And if you talk about the why and why this bad period is coming up, you pretty much halve the pain. Yeah. So it's easier for the developers to say, we see light at the end of the tunnel. So everybody feels the same pain right now, but we have to push through it. So type checking. Just a question beside. Who is familiar with TypeScript and how many developers, please put your hand up, are in here? It's okay. I ask it because this might be a bit technical, but there's a paradigm, I would say, that some programming languages depend on types, which means if you program type safe, you cannot just throw in like a number or a string or an alphanumeric value. You have to say what comes in is a number, and then you cannot like handle it inside of your code like it is a string. And that is exactly what should happen in a team with new additions to the team or in the process of just firing people out of the team. So you have to have a deeper look at the characters inside of your team. It's in every team I found every team speaks a different slang. So sometimes it's pretty rough, some like it pretty noisy, some teams are pretty quiet and just listen to the product owner, and you have to get a feeling of these characters inside your team. Then it's also about the self-perception of your developers. Are you in a team where junior developers are pretty good, but they see themselves as a senior? I don't even know what that means, but usually junior and senior is just an indicator for experience. Just one point to this. There are, of course, also some developers who are seniors, but work like they are juniors, or the other way around. So just check the people inside your team. The process. This sounds pretty stupid, but you could have some rules if you detect dick measurement inside your pull request. You might have set up some meetings and just work together with a team to find some rule sets if you detect penis pull requesting. Of course, you can have a rule set for conflicts. So not code-wise, but if you detect that you have problems between two developers, just set up a process which is, maybe you have some agile coaches and you say at the first trigger point, I will just communicate to an agile coach and I say, okay, these two people, just put them in one room and let them talk, and maybe it's gone afterwards. Yeah, lead it. To find leads is, in my experience, pretty tough. But it's not only tough for the company, for the team, it's also tough to detect whether you are ready for a leading role on yourself. Because you have to ask yourself, as a developer, am I ready? Am I good enough, long enough in the company, seen as a lead, before somebody can name you? Also, this whole process, in my experience, is just, it's the best if it works organically. You can, sometimes I go to teams and detect that they have leads, but they didn't ever name them. So they are just organically, like everyone is going to them, ask them, and they know the answers. Yeah, and then you need social skills. A leader is just somebody who knows the team, as I said before, but it's also about explaining and being patient. So you cannot put somebody in the leading role who screams all the day and who has a negative attitude. So this will reflect on all of your team members. Though, 5 minutes before time, so you have 5 minutes more to ask me. This might be because, like I said, 7 o'clock in the morning. So contact me on Twitter. I have another slide for the sake of if I'm too drunk and have like some fun facts popping up. So we will have a look at that. 206.5 hours is my invoice of the last month for Finanzcheck. So I was pretty much in the office the whole month. And I thought about preparing for this earlier, but didn't happen. At least I had a hotel, but 3 days before this, my hotel got cancelled, and I had to search for another one. So we had to stop yesterday at the German Autobahn and just have a nice 1 hour call with hotels.com, and then they booked me a new one. And maybe this is the most important one. And my experiences, maybe of the last 2 years, I found 3 PPRs in a team, in a well-performing team per month. So you definitely will find it. Just have an eye on it. Just have an eye on egos in your pull request. Just have a look at my slides. I will put them online and on GitHub. I will share a link on Twitter and maybe to the people of code.talks. Have a nice lunch. Just ask me whatever you want, and thank you for coming.
Are there any questions?
Hey, thanks for your talk.
Thank you.
I have a question. Our chief software architect is a super senior, been on the product for more than 10 years. How do I PPR detect with her, because she's a lady?
Yeah, I knew this one was coming. Yeah, just have a look at her. Maybe you cannot measure dick size, but just have a look at the traffic light colors in her face. Like if it's pretty red, you can be pretty sure that it's like on a good way to be a PPR.
Right. I thought it was just, more like experience and being calm about it, but there might be some PPR around, you're saying.
Excuse me? Can you explain?
I'm just thinking because saying PPR, that there are normal fights in teams, People are fighting all the time. When in certain detail do you detect a PPR? I mean, it's totally normal that people will not agree on stuff, and then someone has just to, not pull it out, but make a stand.
Of course, that's a normal behavior in teams, but you will detect it. I mean, there's something other or stranger if people fight about this. So just an example of my experience. I am working in a team, and there were 2 guys, and it was a senior and a junior. I don't want to say that it's every time like this, but in this situation it was junior and senior. And it was like they had problems with each other, but the team didn't know. So they, I don't know, sympathetic-wise or whatever. And they started ping-ponging like for 4 days. It was like, oh no, you cannot do that. And then the other guy said, I spent like one day only just to rip the complete pull request out of the angles. So you will detect it, and of course there's always discussion, but if you find a PPR, it's just like they want to behave badly against each other.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
I have actually got 2 questions. So first one was, I thought this was a very concise picture you painted of the conflict between junior and senior developers.
Yeah.
So in a team where we have a typical Rockstar developer, so some ego step above a senior developer, what are solutions for interpersonal fights between Rockstar developers and junior developers?
You might not like it, but retro perspectives in an agile software development team are pretty important. So if you do retros like every 2 weeks or after each sprint, yeah, I made the experience that this behavior like is limited a bit because of the team talks more and more, and you have to stick to the plan in what comes on your calendar, because each of us knows that we are always deleting retros and we are skipping it and we don't like it. But you have to do it even if you know there's nothing to talk about. That is my experience, yeah.
Okay. And the second question would be, as the industry is struggling with inclusion, in your opinion, was it really necessary and a base requirement to use an overtly sexist meme to make your point?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, thank you. Mad props.
We have another question here in front.
First of all, thanks for your talk.
Thank you.
How do you experience such bad pull requests cross-team or cross-domain? How do you manage that?
Yeah, that's pretty complicated. I'm actually in some kind of such behavior bit cross-team, so I don't know. I really don't know. Inside a team, I have like found some solutions, but cross-team is pretty hard. You could also try to gather them all on one table, but in the end, there might be only the management level to just solve such problems. I don't really know.
Too bad.
If you find a solution, just go ahead. Write me an email and I will put it in here for the next time.
Great.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. If you have a recurring conflicts,
Yeah.
so they are escalating, then retrospective, we are solving,
Yeah.
kind of, then escalating. Would you go all the way to solve them, or is it sometimes better to split and
Sometimes
disengage?
Yeah, sometimes you just have maybe you have a bad fit, and you have to see how it develops, and if it's not solvable and recurring, as you said, you have to have a look at the team atmosphere, and if it's too bad every time, so you have to find a solution like kicking or just circling people around to different teams or whatever.
Hi, thanks for the talk.
Thank you.
I'm sure you might be familiar with the theory of broken windows.
No.
It's about, once you have, imagine a building that's fine and it gets abandoned.
Yeah.
And the theory is that once the first window is broken, it's like an avalanche of consequences which start more broken windows.
Yeah.
And in my experience, it can happen in pull requests and software too.
Yeah.
Like, if you imagine that situation you talked about with the senior developer saying the thing like, this piece of shit has no place in my software.
Yeah.
And I think that's like an attitude issue about different expectations.
Yeah.
Because the software might be a baby of the senior developer, and he thinks it's very polished. And then you have junior developers making pull requests with changes that he doesn't approve of. And he thinks that might be the first window that gets broken.
Yeah.
And you should be able to, there needs to be a balance in between, do I have to break this window now?
Yeah.
Or do I accept that it might take longer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're right. You have to find a balance, and that's why you have to find the right leads to jump in if you have a fight going on, and you have to just team-wise or people-wise, depends on your leads, find a balance to just rip a pull request out of the angles or no. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
The CEO from Stack Overflow presented last year at the We Are Developers in Vienna the point that Stack Overflow itself is not inclusive enough because small hints in questions like, oh, that's a simple question, I can I can solve it very fast, lead to flowing egos, because there is no way that you get the asynchronous ping pong in a way that everybody finds it nice. And my thinking is maybe the pull request itself the invitation to let egos flow.
That's interesting. Yeah. Go on. Maybe it could be.
I'm trying to do, or I'm playing with the idea that the pull request itself is the problem, because there is no way that everybody likes your critique.
Yeah.
So
and you give it a platform, yeah. You give
right.
it a platform for this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It might be. Yeah.
Could be the solution. We just need to talk more. There is no way that we can do a pull request which is liked by everybody.
Ah, come on. That's always the solution. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, we can talk. Yeah.
So I think a good solution would be there is no asynchronous pull request. Everybody does a pull request as a pair programming.
Yeah.
And talk directly, not in a mail ping pong.
And that's what works pretty well in my experience. Yeah. Okay. Something more? So, okay. I think that's it. My hangover is gone now, so maybe we see each other tonight, have a little beer. Enjoy your lunch and enjoy the conference. Thank you.